Welcome back to Satisfactory. We are kind of wandering around looking for our next project. I think we should set up, and this is where all of our inventory was. And then I think we put some good stuff in here. We'll just clear this out. Matter of fact, let me also grab this as well. And then I figured out why these aren't going in evenly is because we set up a semi good sharer. First third goes there, the second third goes there, and then this third is shared by these three. So that's why these outer guys are getting a lot more resources than those inner ones. I was thinking about putting together a huge power tower because we have a massive amount of power. Our surplus power is pretty good right now. The geothermal is too good. We're using right around 2K, we're making right around 3K. Also, I'm considering just putting a nice pillar, a big concrete pillar right here. And then just cutting that in half. That way it looks a little bit more supported. I was going to put in another lift, but my head's kind of saying, just put into a concrete pillar. But we'll leave that because that's kind of that's a purely aesthetic issue. I think we need to do some site prep and maybe some blueprint prep for our massive power tower. Kind of looking around, you can see all the power slugs at night. It's always easier to go power slug hunting at night. Well, I should say it's always easier to see them at night. Whether it's easier to pick them up is a different question. You might come across the spiders galore. But see, that little area right there seems like it would be good for a standard building. Something that would use water. Is all that... Is that stuff kind of in the... Or are we going to get killed trying to go over there? I'm kind of worried it's not on the map. I think I'm sort of looking right here. Build site. Large infinite highlight, apply. What is this? New marker. Can we get rid of this? Okay. Let's see if that site makes sense. I highlighted it. Why am I not seeing the highlight? I should be seeing that highlight in the map, on the map. There's been a purple power slug here this whole time. That looks dangerously off the map. I kind of like the idea of building out here, though. But to me, this area over here is probably outside the zone. I'm always tempted to build outside the zone. Oh, I don't think I've ever been over here. None of this looks familiar to me. It doesn't feel as done as the rest of the map. I mean, it's nice. It's a nice little beach. But I'm not seeing any animals. I'm not seeing any... It's just a nice little hidden cove. I mean, there's not even mushrooms. Well, this could be a nice place to put a little bit of a power tower. I mean, this is a pure oasis. I like doing site surveys, just looking for interesting places to build things. My goal would be 8 by 8, maybe 9 by 9 if you wanted to give yourself a little walking space. Yeah, this is right in the midst here. So we're gonna have to go up a level. At least. Actually, 9 isn't the right number. It would be closer to 10, wouldn't it? Actually, I don't know if I like this at all. I kind of like the idea of it being near the beach, though. Because once I pull the power, I kind of want that to be the end of it. If I make this the center, it would be 4. If I make this 5. If I go 8 and 2 around, that's 10. All right, so that's 10 exactly. And what kind of entryway can we put on this? Now I'm thinking about maybe we could have like an in the rough bottom level entryway. Problem with that is, well, we can make it work. Let's just do some colors so we can 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that just makes finding the center a little easier. See, I think this should get moved. And then we need to ramp this halfway over. No, we don't have any biomass. Oh, but we do have biomass on us, but do we have the chainsaw? We have the chainsaw on us. Ah. Time for a full site prep. think one more. That should be enough to clear out the space that we need. Want. Whatever. Then we'll go 9 out. Build a nice base for it here. Ooh. We ran out of concrete. How embarrassing. We probably need to grab some concrete. I also need to... Let me edit my list. Clear the list. Let's put in the blueprints, hyper cannon. Make sure we've got enough for that as well. Ooh, now that was a aggressive jump on my part. Did I not put a hyper cannon over here? I thought I put a hyper cannon over here. Ugh. Launching this way is probably a recipe for doom. Don't want to launch necessarily directly into the edge of the map. Okay, what are we here for? Concrete. We got a nice concrete factory going right here. 2 levels of concrete goodness. It's possible I should have emptied my inventory and gone big on that and really brought back some serious concrete, but I think I'll be okay to get the foundation built. It'll be interesting to see if we can make it all the way back. Okay. We got those basics in. My thought here is that we'd have some sort of entryway, even if it ends up being in the rough, which it looks like it is. Right, we got that going. And then... well, I'll deal with what I do with that later. My thought, though, is that we would have one battery in the center of all that down at the bottom, so we could check the battery, the power supply. See what's going on with the batteries. Looks like we gotta cut down one more tree. The real problem with this build is that it's going to be an insane amount of quartz crystals and kind of some other stuff that I'm not really fully building. Let's see if we can pull this power all the way over. Oh, well, I guess I'll have to move it kind of closer. Then we can try to take a shot. Not really. Let me move this to a more internal location first. Oh, the height of it is the problem. There we go. Well, you know what? I might connect from the back here. Just start. We're going to want a connection to the tower when it's ready. We can block that off by way of walls. That waterfall sound is crazy. Going out of our way to electrify the most exotic parts of the map. Okay. This has potential. I like how this is headed. I'm gonna see if we have more. Save this just to be on the safe side. Or on the save side, clear that, load. Don't have the resources. Yeah, it's that quartz crystal I was talking about. It's gonna be a problem. Ooh, and the quartz crystal is the exact one that we ran out of. Yeah, I probably should have emptied my inventory first. Put that in the oops category and move on with our day. $288 quartz crystal for the first load. Or the first click of this thing. Oh, I thought I had some quote-unquote extra, but apparently we do not have any extra quartz crystal these days. I'm actually just looking for enough wire to continue. But I'm trying so desperately not to go where I know there's a ton of wire. I should just go where I know there's a ton of wire. So here's what I'm thinking. We'll alter the blueprint to make this build a tad bit more affordable. We know that we're only going to have, like, I'm thinking an 8x8 base and then an 4x4 extended tower. Just dropping off all this leaves and wood. Solid biomass is not technically a fuel supply. It's somewhat of a fuel backup. But I also want the solid biomass if I ever want to run the chainsaw. Okay, let's look at this and see what parts of this we can sort of tear off to make it more affordable. If each side is actually a corner, then I could rip these corners off, these facades and this panel. I would save us some quartz crystal at the very least. Two X wide corner. Do I want to leave those internal light? Deleting this is probably more difficult than just adding it all back up. But this way I know for a fact it lines up. So I'm going to quote unquote suffer through here. I'm suddenly thinking, do I want to keep the pillar in place? This is probably going to take a nudge action to make it line up correctly. I don't think I want that pillar. I think that's fine. I might have to put these the large signs back in. I don't think we're getting the power tower lighting effect that we want without it. Oh, wait a minute. This power tower is not the full size. Uh-oh. That might make some adjustments on the whole build. The center of the build is going to be different now. Looks like if I move this over a half, this would go over. Yeah, it's just one square. Goes right there. It's not the full 4 is the point. I'll figure that out on site, even if we have to just cut back. We'll just pick a corner. Though I guess I need to pick the middle. Make sure we're happy with it on the middle. That might make the most sense. And then we could nudge some foundations to make it work. I'm not worried about it. Thinking about it, but not worried about it. Trying to put this on the corner is probably going to clip a battery. Gonna cut our ease of building access, but I think it's probably worth it to give ourselves a little more lighting. Bonked my head on the glass there. I just want to make sure every battery has at least one wire connected to it. Okay, I think that's our corner piece. That mountain river looks amazing. I'm a little jealous. I know that's outside the zone. Oh boy. Let's see how big this thing actually is. One, two, three. So that's going to be 6 by 6, not 8 by 8. I could still leave the base as big as it is. We just give ourselves 2 spaces instead of 1. That solves most of the problems right there. We aren't going to build this whole thing. I just want to get the corner. You know, I spent so long without the ability to nudge that I still feel obligated to get really close without the nudge. Is that the right placement? This blueprint wasn't made to be double-wided. It's gonna be a problem. I think we're gonna have to nudge. So if we put this in, this side of it gets duplicated on this side. Theoretically, I could get rid of this one as well. Let's do that just to kind of get a good sense of it. I probably should just... Do I have the stuff for a... Yeah, let's just put a blueprint out here. Wow. That almost got me. I think it doesn't matter which one I take out as long as I don't take out the corner one. Did I save that? I feel like I was being very, very efficient with that if I did. Yep, I guess I did. Totally lost my momentum. So that's the center, and we're saying 2 in, so this is the center now. Or the corner. And... it would probably make the most sense to click this in and then build the full height that we were targeting, which was 6 on each corner. But yeah, now we need to get all the stuff over here to get it so we can do some building. Because we were talking about a pretty significant build amount. We were saying 6 of these, so that would be 23 more of these, and then a tower top for 6 of these. I mean, that's a lot of stuff. The worst part is the frames. The frames are going to be the worst. Let's put, I guess since we're doing a site survey, we can start the storage. I think we just have to know that the frames they're going to be rough. I think 2,600 frames. Jesus, that's a lot of frames. You know, while we're here, let's do that other part that we were talking about. Let me just take all this back for a second so we can finish this little observation battery. If there's room, there might not be room. Hello? Yeah, if we're gonna do it, it's gonna have to be kind of in a corner. I'm going to use the customizer to make a hot pink so I know exactly where the center is on this. We can drop a cable down. Look at that. Starting to store a little bit of power. Once we get the rest of this power tower built, we'll have plenty of power. And then we'll have plenty of time to go all the way to nukes without... I think I'm going to try to skip petrol products this time. I am not sure how I'm going to move all this stuff around. The quartz crystal is the thing. I think I'll do the old classic. Ooh. Let's not push that button again. Well, we know the damage is going to be in the modular frames. Quartz crystal. Crystal oscillators actually aren't too bad. We've got a few, but they're not being made. So we're going to have to make some crystal oscillators. Let's edit our to-do list. We completed our site survey. Adding things to the list so you can mark it off as a bit diabolical, but you know. 78 is move in $11K quartz crystal. 79 make I think it's 100 crystal oscillators. Yeah, we need a little less than 100. Let's just make 100 crystal oscillators just so we have some extra. And then we gotta get 2,600 modular frames. And then build it. We'll call it the Mega Power Tower. All right. Those are the key ones that we know we're going to need to do some special stuff for. 26 or 20,000 wire isn't anything to sneeze at either, but typically that's a little easier to deal with. So we'll call it right there. We've got our power tower site survey set up, and we're starting to store some power. Some of that good old geothermal power beautifulness. Yeah, see, it is dropping down because the geothermal isn't wholly reliable. But we've capped enough of them where even on its lowest days, we're still making plenty of power. So that's perfect. All right. Next episode, we'll finish up this giant power tower. And then we'll probably end up finishing the monolith over there in an episode or two after that. Thanks for hanging out. I do appreciate it. We'll see you next time.